Hi everyone, so I wanted to go ahead and make a quick video to help make sure everyone understands the goal for our first paper. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go out and find a podcast or documentary on any topic that you might be interested in. A lot of people do choose to write about a podcast or documentary on the class theme of scams, cults, and conspiracy theories, and you absolutely can do that. But just keep in mind, if that's not really something that you're super interested in, you can also watch a sports documentary or, listen to some other true crime podcasts, okay? So kind of the basics here. It's going to need to be 5 full pages. And so that just means 5 pages top to bottom filled. And we'll have a works cited page as well. Your works cited probably is only going to have one source in it. You might have more than one if you need to do a little bit of research to help you with your context section. We're going to have peer review that's just going to be over Google Docs on February 13th. And then we'll have a draft due to me on the 19th. Okay. Another detail here is there is a sample essay. If you want to see what another student has done in the past, this might be helpful to those of you who are kind of new to this genre or just kind of want to get a good handle on how other people have written about Kairos, for example. What we're doing here is we're doing essentially a rhetorical analysis, okay? And so rhetorical analysis is going to be looking at 3 different things: pathos, ethos, and kairos, or pathos, ethos, and logos. But what I'm doing here with this project is to try to help you zoom out a little bit and think a little bit more about a 4th rhetorical appeal that doesn't get quite as much love, which is called kairos. And kairos is an appeal to timeliness and context. And I honestly think this might be the most important rhetorical appeal because this appeal is basically saying this is important now. We need to do something now. You need to learn more about this now. Stop what you're doing and learn about this now. I think especially in our time when there's so much information that's available to us at any time, we really have our pick of what we want to learn more about or watch or read or listen to or whatever. And so establishing the relevance of your argument is especially important. Okay, so you're going to pick a text, like I said, a podcast or a documentary, and then you're going to analyze it for those 3 that you're probably a little more familiar with: pathos, logos, and ethos. And then you're also going to add another section to analyze kairos, okay, or some of the timeliness context in which this documentary or podcast was released, okay? Usually what we're talking about with this is, for example, true crime podcasts are pretty popular right now. People really like learning more about, the details behind a complicated case. And so sometimes the kairos of your documentary might just be true crime podcasts are really popular. People really want to keep watching them, and so people are going to keep making them. It might be something like, there's the Gypsy Rose documentary that was just released. That might be because Gypsy Rose was just released from prison, right? And so think about kind of the things that are happening right now in culture, the kinds of conversations that are going on. That's going to be where we'll find our kairos, okay? So I have some suggestions down here for different documentaries and podcasts that you could check out. Keep in mind that if you want to write about a series, you don't have to write about the whole series. You can just choose one episode from the series to write about, like the first episode, for example. If you have a Phoenix Public Library card, you have access to Canopy, which means that you can get free documentaries. There's also a lot of documentaries on YouTube, as probably you know even better than me, such as PBS Frontline, which is like a very official, very legit company. They make documentaries as well that you can watch. They're like 45, 60 minutes long. We're also going to analyze a documentary together as a class. Documentary is a little bit of a loose term here. We're gonna analyze part of an episode of John Oliver on scams to help us get a little bit of practice with this. You'll see that assignment coming up. All right. I think the only other thing I want to talk about, so this is worth 20 points. And then if you look down here at the rubric, it's out of 100 points. I think that might be like a little bit confusing. So I'll go ahead and simplify the math here. But all of this is going to tell you what's the most important in the essay. We're going to talk about rhetorical appeals. There's a slideshow already for this. That's going to be worth 30%. In other words, that's going to be worth That's going to be the content of the paper. Can you explain the rhetorical appeals? Thesis statement, I'll give you a formula, 15%. Organization, you want to make sure that you're balancing the different rhetorical appeals. That's really important, 20%. Summary, you want to make sure that you have a summary at the beginning of your paper. It's really important to talk about what is the event that this documentary is covering, or what is covered in this podcast. You want to summarize that so that people who aren't familiar with it will know. That'll be worth 20% of your grade. Documentation, are you citing an MLA? Is it in MLA format? 10%. And then finally, revision and editing is worth 5%. Are you spell checking? Are you following kind of the academic writing rules, like trying to not say the word you or I, for example? Okay, so that's it for this video. Trying to keep these short, so I will have more videos coming your way on rhetorical appeals and other topics. All right, have a great day.